The reason I'm not down to the park is something rather strange happened in my complex. A photographer came in, it's been some time ago, and offered to take pictures of the residents if he were allowed. He would give a copy to the office for their file, and during the process, the residents who got the photographs signed a waiver. Well, photographers have come in here, nearly every year for quite some time. I can remember back, and I don't even remember whether I signed a waiver or not when I had it done, but I didn't have it. I didn't happen to have this one. Well, the photographer took some of the photos of the residents and let an artist, had an arrangement with an artist who took them and made big photographs out of them, portraits, and scribbled on them and put blobs on them, you know, in an artistic transformance of some sort. And, you know, the residents weren't happy with these blobs on their portraits. Now, there's a showing of them over in a gallery, Pavis, I think, gallery in Phoenix, and a number of the residents have trooped over there to see if they were on the walls, and some of them really didn't like what they saw. They liked the price tag, you know, like $3,000, something like that, which helped with the pain a little bit. But, you know, the manager said, well, you signed a waiver, so. And so ever since then, whenever I go up to someone and say, would you like to go to the park and have do an interview, they say no. And then they don't even want to be photographed. No. Well, I'm sure that this resistance to saying their say will, you know, eventually they'll get over what happened and things will go back more to normal, and maybe I'll be able to get someone to go down to the park with me. But as it is now, I had to come back. I tried to do it up in my apartment. I didn't have the lighting. I didn't have what my partner has acquired to give a video some professionalism, some you might say. And so, and my partner
asked me if I want to go to the park.
Yeah.
Yes,
my partner doesn't want to go to the park either and help carry all the equipment and all that. He just said no. So, but anyway, what I'm wanting to talk about today is this picture. It's Sarah Palin and her son Trig. Trig, a cute little fellow. Now remember, he's the Down syndrome baby that Sarah Palin had, and he's going around with her now, and I thought this was a very cute picture of him and the mom. And I thought, well, now there's nothing that exemplifies more what the big conflict we've got in this country about legalized abortion. Sarah Palin is pro-life, and she made it very obvious that even though she knew this baby was going to be a Down syndrome baby, she did not abort it and wouldn't. And so for that, I admire her, since I'm a pro-life Democrat. And I remain a Democrat because I think this great party has done a lot for causes that I'm very that I think a lot about. And one of them is the gay cause, gay rights, because of having a father that I thought went deep, deep, deep into the closet, and other men like him in Utah, because of the religious interpretation of what homosexuality is. So I think that churches, now on the other hand, my church that I was raised in, which I have a distant association with, I feel like I was born Mormon. I'm just Mormon, can't really change that. but I'm a distant Mormon, and a Mormon, you might say, in exile, and that mainly because of the homosexual issue. But I think the Mormon Church is very strong on convincing women that they should not have abortions. And I think that, and if of course it weren't for the Catholic Church, we probably wouldn't even have the big force that's fighting legalized abortion, which the Catholic Church has taken leadership because they say they have been against abortion since the 3rd century. And I think that all their reasons are very strong. And I think the Democratic Party has sort of been shanghaied by intellectual, well, you might call faction, who are traditionally critical of church and what that involves, and they have they have the ones who have sort of tried to justify legalized abortion. And this is what I think, that no intellectualism in the world can actually reasonably justify abortion. It is not good for women. And it's like they're saying, well, we can't possibly expect women to do anything else to control their sex drives, to keep from having unwanted babies, so we're going to have abortion. Well, what happened when legalized abortion came to pass is the amount of deaths skyrocketed because people were tempted. They were tempted to use this, having been told, although they probably knew very well it wasn't really true, having been told by their leadership, their Supreme Court, everybody else, that this was okay. They didn't have to worry about whether it was wrong or not. Well, that's taking a lot on yourself to say that death is not wrong as long as it's before 9 months. Well, to me, that is a shameful development to try to justify something that Mother Nature is totally against, because the mother is supposed to be the protector of the child, not one who is going to threaten the life of the child because of some thinking up here and some lack of planning and some carelessness because of a law. There's been a lot of laws passed that are wrong, including slavery. Oh, just look at slavery and you'll see all kinds of laws like passed in the States. Well, fugitive slave law, this, that, and the other, trying to keep those slaves in the terrible thing known as slavery, using other people as chattels, no more than cattle almost, beasts of burden. We have always had laws passed that were wrong. And people had to go to a lot of effort, a great deal of effort. Look at a civil war to try to change the law, to change our attitude towards slavery. And even after it was the Civil War, people were still trying to get cheap convict labor and were abusing the blacks that they were convinced had been taken away from them unfairly as the workforce. So intellectual, you can use a lot of big words, you can use arguments, but basically, if your thinking is wrong, it doesn't matter how many books you read, how well you reason, you're still going to be wrong when it comes to whether this is right or not. After abortion was legalized, people were saying that a whole lot more women had died of legalized abortions than actually had. If there would have been a woman, if we've got 1 million, more than 1 million a year of babies, fetus being aborted, well, if there had been that many women seeking abortions before, we would have seen a lot more. So there was actually exaggeration of the